Success in the music industry can bring fame, wealth, and the adoration of fans around the world. And yet some artists have squandered it all. In name, image, and practice, Gary Glitter pretty much embodied the 1970s movement of glam rock. He took 18 songs to the top 40 of the pop chart in the UK, including the song he's best known for in the US, Rock and Roll Part 2. However, even this song faded from popularity thanks to Glitter's multiple arrests and convictions for sexual crimes committed against children. After computer repair workers found images depicting child abuse on Glitter's PC, the musician was reported to authorities, and he subsequently served 4 months in prison. Upon release, Glitter immigrated to Vietnam, where in 2006, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison for acts perpetrated against girls aged 10 and 11 in that country. A few years after his release and return to the UK, he was handed a 16-year prison sentence for crimes committed against 3 women under the age of 18 decades earlier. Glitter was paroled in 2023, but he was remanded back into custody a mere 38 days later. In a violation of his parole, Glitter had been caught using an internet-enabled device to access illegal sexual content on the dark web. R. Kelly was dubbed the King of R&B all the way back in 1998. He ultimately placed 35 top 10 hits on Billboard's Hot R&B chart and often crossed over to the upper reaches of the pop chart, too. From nearly the beginning of his career, however, Kelly endured allegations of impropriety and abuse involving a number of women and teenagers. He once married his 15-year-old protege, R&B star Aaliyah, by lying about the singer's age. And in 1998, he settled a lawsuit for allegedly causing emotional stress to a woman under the age of 18. The suit claimed he had engaged in an intimate relationship with her. From 2002 to 2004, Kelly narrowly avoided prison time after being connected with more than 30 counts of producing sexually explicit content depicting children. In 2017, a BuzzFeed expose led to a slew of allegations that later evolved into charges for state and federal crimes. These charges included witness tampering, racketeering, and recruiting young women in order to control and abuse them.
I never thought that I would be here to see him be held accountable.
In 2022, Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison on state-level charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. A federal judge then delivered Kelly a 20-year sentence for crimes against minors, which was to be served mostly concurrent with the previous punishment. Canadian artist Tory Lanez does a little bit of everything. Born Daystar Peterson, he has proven to be a prolific rapper, singer, mixtape creator, music video director, and songwriter for other hip-hop and R&B stars. The 2016 full-length album I Told You took Peterson into the upper echelons of the Canadian and American pop worlds, thanks to 2 hits in Love and Say It. Although he has collaborated with a number of huge acts over the years, Peterson's scandalous and violent altercation with another emergent musical superstar would send him to prison for a very long time. Late one night in July 2020, Peterson and rapper Megan Thee Stallion reportedly left a party at the Los Angeles home of reality TV star Kylie Jenner. An argument intensified as they prepared to leave in a car, and when Megan attempted to exit, Peterson produced a weapon and opened fire, shooting at the rapper's feet. Megan sought medical attention and required surgery in the aftermath. Police arrested Peterson and charged him with felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, possession of a concealed and unregistered firearm, and negligent discharge of a firearm. In December 2022, a court declared Peterson guilty of all charges. 8 months later, he was sentenced to a decade in prison. Back in the early 2000s, the Welsh goth rock band Lost Prophets produced a string of popular alternative radio hits in the UK and the US. The single Last Train Home went to number 1 on Billboard's alternative rock chart, and Wake Up, Make a Move, and I Don't Know got major airplay too. All of this served to raise the celebrity of Lost Prophets' founding member, lead singer, and primary songwriter, Ian Watkins. But it all came crashing down in November 2013, when Watkins entered a guilty plea to a slate of 13 counts of sexual offenses, all committed against children. According to the presiding judge at Watkins' sentencing hearing, the musician's actions had, quote, plunged into new depths of depravity. Watkins is now imprisoned for 7 counts surrounding the possession and creation of child sex abuse material, 3 counts of sexual assault, and conspiracy for the attempted rape of a child.
This investigation has uncovered the most shocking and harrowing child abuse evidence I've ever seen.
The 2 mothers of Watkins' victims were Lost Prophets fans who had provided the singer access to their children, and so they were sentenced to prison terms of 14 years and 17 years. The judge stated that Watkins appeared to feel a complete lack of remorse for his acts. As a result, he was handed a prison sentence of 35 years. Real name Michael Tyler, rapper Mystikal, became best known for putting out a number of early 2000s club hits. Then, in 2002, Tyler confronted a hairdresser formerly in his employ for stealing $80,000 in checks from him. He allegedly agreed to not call the police on the woman in exchange for a sexual favor. Police arrested the rapper on charges of extortion and aggravated rape, which, in Louisiana, carries a mandatory punishment of a life sentence with no probation. The rapper's lawyer negotiated a plea deal, however, with Tyler agreeing to plead guilty to a lesser charge of sexual battery. The rapper went to prison for 6 years and was added to Louisiana's sex offender registry. That incident influenced how Tyler was prosecuted for future crimes, too. After he was accused of rape and kidnapping in 2016, Tyler was imprisoned for a year and a half until the charges were dropped. In August 2022, police in Baton Rouge arrested the rapper after a woman was hospitalized following an alleged sexual assault. Citing his previous involvement with similar crimes, a judge refused to release the rapper on bond, and he'll stay in jail until his trial for the crimes of battery and first-degree rape. Under mandatory sentencing laws, Mystikal faces life in prison. Before he formed the apocalyptic cult for which he was most infamous, Charles Manson was a mere musician bumming around the 1960s LA music scene. While he made one album and even got one of his compositions recorded by the Beach Boys, Manson was more successful at attracting other musicians to his so-called family, including Bobby Beausoleil.
I can do anything I want to you people at any time I want to.
As a teenager, Beausoleil briefly played guitar for the Grassroots, as well as a number of other acts on the psychedelic scene. In the Manson family, Beausoleil was one of the boss's most trusted allies, responsible for luring new recruits. He also committed murders at Manson's command. The first death authorities attributed to the Manson cult was that of music teacher Gary Hinman in 1969. Having been spotted driving Hinman's car, Beausoleil was arrested for this crime and later convicted. His 1970 death sentence was commuted to a life sentence when the state of California banned capital punishment in 1972, and Beausoleil has been behind bars ever since. In 2019, Beausoleil was kept in prison after Governor Gavin Newsom blocked the parole board's recommendation to release him. Kid Creole was one of the first people in history to have made their name in hip-hop. Born Nathaniel Glover, Kid Creole was a member of the Furious Five, the crew that supported superstar DJ Grandmaster Flash. Present on some of the earliest rap singles and albums, Kid Creole delivered verses on Freedom and Super Rappin'. The Furious Five split up in the 1980s, and Kid Creole's recording career ended shortly thereafter. But the collective reunited in 2007 when it became the first hip-hop act inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2017, while living in New York City and working at a Manhattan copy shop, Glover was approached by an unhoused man. The meeting quickly escalated into violence, and Glover stabbed the man in the chest with a steak knife. Glover reported for work, washed the knife, and was arrested a day later after finally admitting to the crime. Glover's victim died from his injuries, and in 2022, the rapper once known as Kid Creole was found guilty of manslaughter and sentenced to a 16-year prison term.
Now, the day I woke up and I only made like $40,000, I'm like, shit ain't right.
Helping to take trap music into the mainstream, Fetty Wap broke out of the collective Remy Boys in 2014 and quickly took his debut solo track, Trap Queen, to number 2 on the pop and R&B charts. Real name Willie Maxwell II, Fetty Wap dominated rap the summer of 2015 and even earned 2 nominations at the 2016 Grammy Awards. Serious legal issues soon derailed Fetty Wap's career, however. In October 2021, FBI agents arrested the rapper at the Rolling Loud Festival in Queens, New York. One of 6 people apprehended in a single operation, the FBI alleged that Maxwell had helped run a nationwide trafficking ring headquartered in Suffolk County. For the FBI's investigation, Maxwell assisted in bringing in drugs from the West Coast before having them sold in the New York City metropolitan area. Having been accused of helping distribute fentanyl and heroin, Maxwell offered a guilty plea to federal-level charges of conspiracy to distribute and possess cocaine. During his 2023 sentencing hearing, the rapper apologized. He told the court, "I hurt my community, people who look up to me, my family, and myself. I'm truly sorry for any pain I caused." Unswayed by his remorse, the presiding judge sentenced the rapper to a 6-year term in federal prison. He will also face 5 years of supervision after his release. Branding himself as an emo a cappella singer, teen idol type Austin Jones used YouTube to launch a successful musical career. While still a teenager in 2007, Jones recorded and uploaded videos of himself covering familiar pop tunes, sometimes accompanying himself on an acoustic guitar. He eventually began to record original songs, release multiple albums, and even embarked on a concert tour. Jones remained a prominent YouTube star for the next decade, ultimately bringing in more than 500,000 subscribers and amassing several million video views for his channel. Jones's fan base largely consisted of young women, and he used his popularity in that demographic to sexually exploit and victimize some of his followers. In 2017, Jones was arrested after allegedly using Facebook to encourage fans to send him explicit videos and images of themselves. Some of his targets were as young as 14. After Jones agreed to a plea bargain, a Chicago judge sentenced the disgraced YouTube celebrity to 10 years in prison. The hottest thing in rap in the late 90s and early 2000s was the gritty, go-hard sound of No Limit Records. Rapper Master P founded the label and used it as a vehicle to propel his own career, as well as those of his brothers, Silk, The Shocker, and C Murder. The latter's first 2 albums, Life or Death and Beausoleil, were respectively certified platinum and gold by the RIAA. But C Murder's rise to the top of the rap world was hindered somewhat by a rap battle tragedy. In 2002, 16-year-old C Murder fan Steve Thomas used a fake ID to attend an event at the Platinum Club in Harvey, Louisiana. During the concert, a large fight broke out in the crowd and escalated quickly. C Murder allegedly shot Thomas, who died as a result of his injuries. A year earlier, C Murder had been involved in a similar incident at a Baton Rouge club, attempting to shoot Club Rag's owner Norman Sparrow and a bouncer. That time, however, the gun had jammed. Attempted murder charges didn't stick in that case, but in the later Thomas case, a jury found C Murder guilty of second-degree murder. A judge delivered the rapper a sentence of life in prison. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, contact the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website, or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE 4673.